Welcome to the Builders of Authority podcast, a show committed to helping you build authority for your brand. In the realm of business and personal branding, authority stands as a cornerstone. Authority isn't built overnight, it's built over time. So join us as we build something remarkable together. And now, here's your host, Adam McChesney.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Builders of Authority podcast. Our title sponsor for the podcast is Go High Level, also known as GHL. GHL is the first ever all-in-one platform that gives you the tools, support, and resources you need to succeed and crush your marketing goals. Personally, I've used this software since 2020. It's been a game changer for my business and for our clients. If you're looking to level up your CRM and marketing game, then this is the platform to use. You can find a link for a free and extended 30-day trial with tons of Builders of Authority bonuses in the show notes. So take advantage of the opportunity to adopt this amazing software and grow your business. Today, we have an in-person episode at a new venue at Adventure Unknown. So AU is here in Fenton, Missouri, a business and travel club that I joined back in August. It's been an incredible place and community here. So if you're here in St. Louis and you haven't checked it out, shoot me a message and let's schedule time to have you come in. But today I'm joined by somebody who I've had the opportunity to meet and is a member here at AU with me. And that is really the power of being a part of this network, is the network here, the amazing people that you meet, and much more. We had been chatting back and forth, finding ways to collaborate and help support each other on social media. Last week, we had the chance to sit down and chat even further, and really excited about what is going to come from us working together and partnering together. So my guest today is Corey Schonhorst. He is the owner of Punchline Productions here in St. Louis. Corey, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. I like what you have here, man. This is awesome.
Yeah, thank you. I feel like our collaboration was long overdue. Both of us blamed ourselves for that. I was like, I blame me. I blame me.
Yeah. Well, we get busy, and then I'm traveling, you're traveling. We got so much stuff going on. So I'm glad we have a chance to sit down here today and dive a little bit deeper. So tell the audience a little bit about who Corey is. I know a little bit about your story, but talk to us about who he is.
Sure. So in 1983. I grew up in North County, St. Louis. I moved around a little bit between being a child and like college years.
Yep.
Lived in Branson for a little while, lived in Tennessee for a little while, built some really great, lifelong relationships through those different moves, and started doing marketing and advertising back in 2007. Did that for a long time, got into radio quite a bit back during those times. AM radio, had a Sunday morning show that probably 17 people listened to.
Love it.
I do stand-up comedy as a hobby. And back in June, I started this Punchline Productions thing, and it kind of melded all of my things I loved into one. And I would say that inspiration really originally came from my grandfather. Growing up, there was two things that I was enamored with, and that was his ability to speak to everyone and to draw stories from people, but also speak to everyone equally, right? So it didn't matter if it was like the governor of Missouri or a gas station attendant. Mm-hmm. They would all get 45 minutes of his undivided attention.
Yeah. And
it was just really kind of cool. And then the other thing that we got to do sometimes is he would let me stay up late and watch Johnny Carson. And that was after MASH. So like if you heard MASH, like that was when I was in bed. And then sometimes if my grandmother was asleep, I'd get up and I'd watch Johnny Carson with my grandpa. And I just always thought it was cool. Like I shouldn't say I never aspired to be like an action star, but I always thought it'd be cool to be like Johnny Carson than Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And I know we were kind of chatting about your story last week, and just in terms of like how you kind of started to get a little bit of like the entrepreneurial bug. And that's one thing that I'm always interested in, of how people kind of get to where they're at. But usually every good entrepreneur has like that story, right? Where they've went and they've had success, and then it's went down. And obviously you being in the radio industry and then going and doing all these different things. But one of the stories you had mentioned about like how you bought radio time yourself forever. So walk through that, because I think that's kind of like when you're growing up and you're selling candy in school, that type of thing. Like it's that type of story.
Yeah. Which, by the way, growing up, I did sell rocks at one. There was one summer I would take decorative rocks and try and resell them to the neighbors.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So that was, getting into advertising was never anything I had anticipated.
Mm-hmm.
I was like the cable guy, how he was to shows, I was to commercials. I've always thought of things in a commercial mindset, but never knew what that was called. And so I got into sales with Grand Slam Sports, which at the time was St. Louis Sports Magazine and KFNS.
Mm-hmm.
It was just one radio station at the time, AM radio. And 6-7 months in, there was a period of time where they were like, oh, there's fire sale on ads. I don't know if they still do this, but at the time they did. And they were like, there's a fire sale, so call your existing clients and let them know, or new ones, and let them know they can get a 30-second ad for like $5 or a 60-second ad for $10. And after thinking about it for a little while, I was like, can I buy those? Right? And then like, I guess. And so my assumption was, at the time it was correct, which was cool. So like for 2 or 3 years, just going to like Clear Channel and MS and buying additional inventory. And so it didn't always have to be a fire sale. Sometimes rotators are spots that need to be filled on radio, and they'll throw them into a package. So it's kind of one of those dangly carrot things where they're like, hey, here's why you're paying $3,500, because Adam's going to speak directly about your product on the show. But as a sweetener, we'll throw in these other rotators, which was throwaway times, because it could be like, you could have like 4 of your rotator commercials play at like 4 a.m., 4:05, nobody ever hears them.
Yeah.
But that was to sweeten the deal. And so I just bought them for 3 years from all these different stations. And then I went back to the people that told me, oh, it doesn't make sense for me to be on this station, demographic wise, and I would resell it. And so one other lesson I learned is, as an agency, quote unquote, you get 20% kickback from the station. So if I sell $10 worth of ads, I get $2 back. And I think that's how that math works, right?
Yeah.
I
think, yeah.
Still not strong in that area. So I can mark it up 20% to the individual, and I'd also get 20% kickback. So I had a 40% margin and was still able to sell airtime cheaper than what you could get it directly from the station with. And, saying that out loud, I do think about that too. Like when I would read stories, I never really thought about that aspect, but when you hear like Bill Gates' story or something, right? Like it's always humble beginnings. It's never whatever. So
well, I just think, so often, right, when a lot of times when we're in sales, which is where I started as well, as we start to think like an entrepreneur. We start to see these different gaps of like, hey, how could I create something out of what most people don't think? And that's just how our brains are operated, I think, a little bit differently. So kind of your whole career has been around marketing, advertising, obviously branding now, kind of tying everything together. What are some lessons you've learned about the brands that have really stuck around and created kind of like a lifelong fan base or customer base that's loyal versus the ones that maybe like the fly by night, and then you see them a little bit and then you never hear from them again?
Sure. I mean, I've been involved in those, but also I would say that there's standouts in the industry, right? Like Kleenex brand Kleenex is like, what a brilliant idea.
Yeah.
That's the name of the product. And it becomes synonymous. And the success I've seen on a large scale typically comes with good branding. The adverse of that, to again keep it broad and then we'll kind of narrow it down, would be like Pontiac, right? Because it no longer exists. And so the trouble there was, is it a high-end performance vehicle? Is it an affordable vehicle? There was no true to itself.
Sure.
So one of the lessons I've learned, and I may feel differently about this because in 3 years, because I've also learned to be fluid about my belief systems. I stick to my morals and what I truly believe in, but I'm fluid with a lot of things nowadays. And that comes from understanding of, I had started doing TikToks when I first started this like journey that I'm on now. I would call it mental and health and all this. And initially it was just me talking about my journey because I was at rock bottom. And I wanted to document being at rock bottom and the elevation to not being at rock bottom.
Yeah.
I didn't know where I would end up,
Yeah.
but I was hoping it was above rock bottom.
Yep.
As I started doing that, I got advice from people, and I took it to heart. I got advice in the sense, and this goes in with the branding question, is why I bring this up. Hey, you know, in order to engage people more thoroughly and get more viewers, you should do 60 seconds only. You should have a hook, and you should make it a lesson. So, for example, it'd be like, hey, the best way to crush your thing. It just started sounding really douchey.
Yeah.
Right? It's like the best way to crush it is like never dwell on the past. Don't worry about the future. Focus on the moment. And it was just very Jersey Shore. It wasn't cool. And then so like right away after that, somebody else then gave me advice to, oh, well, mention that you're on a mental health journey or blah, 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 blah. None of that worked. And so what I now do is I no longer take advice that changes who I am or what I do.
Yeah.
I take things under advisement. So I look at things from a different perspective, and I try and see a point of view, and I might add it to my repertoire or take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Gives me a better understanding. But when you're talking about brand building, the one underlying thing, if you're Butterball Turkey, if you're mom and pop shop down the street, is stay true to yourself. Consistency over time with your true self and your true passion has been the number one thing that I could attribute to any success story I've seen when it comes to branding.
That's powerful. And I agree wholeheartedly with that. And it was kind of like what we were talking about just before, is where like when I'm teaching and I'm educating people on, hey, this is what I've done to build my brand, and this is what I'm doing right now. If you try to follow it 100% to a T, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
If you don't take what I give you and everybody else gives you, what you give somebody, and what people listen online with Hermosi or any brand building person that's out there, anytime I've tried to go recreate what they've done, it's never worked. And it's not that it doesn't work, because it works for them. But if I try to manipulate that into Adam is this individual or Adam is this brand, you lose the authenticity. You lose the core reason as to what made it the brand to begin with.
Yeah. Yeah. Remember, like, you ever seen the Ray Charles movie?
Yeah.
With Jamie Foxx? And when he first went in, because they were going to sign him, and he's like, yeah, you sound just like this person. You sound like this person. We got to find your voice. And if you look at comedians and stand-up comedians, because now I'm more into building brands. Individuals are the brand. Which I think is apt of where our culture is right now. I certainly believe that I found my niche and my purpose in doing so, because no longer do we have to be interested or have this same ability to follow a product brand, because it's forced upon us. Right? Like algorithms tell us what cat food we're about to buy. You know what I mean? So like we don't have as much decision making because AI decides that for us. I mean, how many times have we delivered ads? But the thing that we do have control over is ourselves as individuals. And so as people become, what was it in the past years, like when I first started selling ads and you were selling services, there's two primary things in sales, right? There's B2C and B2B. But now we have this market that emerged 7 years ago that's C2C. Customer to customer. Uber, Turo, Airbnb. These are all C2C markets. And they're driven by the individual. Because I'm going to look at your profile picture before I stay in your home and be like, oh, he looks like he probably doesn't have bodies in the basement. I'm going to go stay at this house. Right? And so I think that's another thing. You brought up a great point about being fluidity. If we're trying to mimic each other, then it doesn't work. And I think that's going to be more and more prevalent as people just consume these is it Gen Z? Who's the
I think
25 and below?
I think it's Gen
Sam, what generation are you?
I think it's Gen Z.
Yeah. Terrible group of individuals.
well, you brought up something interesting there, because I do think, like, I've had a couple clients that have came in recently, and they're in that Gen Z, and it's interesting how their mind works from a branding standpoint. And it used to just be, again, it's like, I got to build, the best logo and the best and all this stuff that, like, and it's like,
trivial.
really, it's like, no, it's like, you got to build your brand. Like you as Adam and Corey, which is where I kind of wanted to take this, because you had mentioned something there of like how you've even transitioned and see it. And that's really what I started 4 years ago when I started doing it. I said, hey, I went from medical device sales, 2 different companies, a small company and a large company. And what made me successful is I was good at selling the product and service, but I was better at making people know that Adam was the guy that was there for them. And then when I went into digital marketing, it's like, there's hundreds of thousands of options. What makes my company name unique from everybody? Nothing. But the difference is me in how I do things, how I lead people, how I built a team, and how I provide those services. So talk a little bit about that even deeper.
In the way I do it?
Just in the way you do it, or how you see the market kind of go different. I think from being like, man, I'm so loyal to, for example, like when I just exited this agency, it was a perfect example of, everybody was like, no, they're loyal. My partners were telling me they're loyal to us at the company. It's like the minute I say I can do it again, everybody's like, I'm going with Adam.
Right.
It's because there's less loyalty to the brand, more loyalty to the individual.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And brand loyalty was what things were built off of. So, like when you're talking about a great example of that people could relate to is the Pepsi Coke war.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So like it was all about brand loyalty. As a non-soda drinker, I mean, I guess they taste different. They do taste different, but I don't really care either one.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people that'll be like, do you have Pepsi or Coke products? And if it's the opposite of what they want, they'll be like, I'll just have water.
My wife's I'll do whatever. My wife's like, no, Coke.
yeah, exactly. So that brand loyalty comes from a couple of different places. And a lot of it's subconscious. Relatability, lifestyle branding is probably the best way to create brand loyalty. And I would regress and say that more so than my words being relevant in this conversation would be my mentor's words. I was really blessed to have known Edmund Crystal, who had the Crystal ad agency. And he passed in 21, but just an incredible human. He and another gentleman who introduced you to, Larry Hughes, who started the Hughes ad agency, which now is HLK ad agency. So one guy, they both were at Brown Shoe and in marketing. And Ed went out and started his boutique shop, and Larry went out and became a conglomerate. And so from their perspectives and what they talked about with branding, it was the lifestyle. And I remember Ed gave me this book years and years ago. It was from like the 50s. And it's funny how they talk about lifestyle branding towards different demographics in that era. But I would say it's about that. And so it's a more relatable subject when you're talking about it as an individual. It's hard for me to get you to buy into the lifestyle of Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
Do you remember the old commercials like get vertical, get vertical with Dew? It's very extreme.
Yeah.
And so like as a mild-mannered dude, that doesn't appeal to me.
Yeah.
So if I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm big on whatever, and then they switched it up, now it's a video game thing too, because that's extreme. So, but it used to be about rollerblades and skateboards. Their brand, which is a Pepsi product, I believe Mountain Dew is, right?
It is, yeah.
Their brand was built on a lifestyle.
Yep.
They weren't creating brand loyalty because of taste, flavor, or anything else. They were creating it for that niche.
Yeah.
So as an individual, where's your niche? So if you're in sales, my niche is in the buyer market. Okay, well, what's my demographic? Right? And so then you want to create a thing. So when I'm looking at like a clothing line, for example, there's one that Riser United right there that we work with. And one of the things about the reason I chose to partner with them, and I say that graciously because they extended that to us, and it wasn't like I'm not Walmart. I didn't have like 7 lined up and be like, I choose you. Like they came to us, and we were very gracious to have them. But the reason that I loved it and was so gracious to have them was because their motto is patriotism isn't political. And I'm all on board with that because I love our country and I love what it stands for, and I choose to look at things differently. And so that's a branding choice. The way our country and the narrative of our country is even branded. So you want to get really like 3,000 foot view, you can look at things in 2 ways. You can look at things as America, it's kind of a little controversial. Yeah. America suffered through hundreds of years of slavery. And that's terrible. And we have that mar, and we've learned from that. Or America was the first country in the world throughout the history of time to abolish slavery and to fight against it.
Yeah.
I choose this one. I'm aware of this one, and I'm familiar with it, and I think it's horrific and terrible. But I love the idea that we were the first ones to destroy that narrative.
Yeah.
Slavery has no place in our country. And that's pretty darn cool. So when you're talking about building a brand, it's about hooking that person into that lifestyle.
Yep. Even
if it's minuscule in thought process as far as like a hefty trash bag.
Sure.
Right? Like hefty, thick sack. Right? Because you're like, man, because we could all identify with the lifestyle of, do you remember the old commercial? They'd pick up the bag out of the trash can and the bottom would fall out.
Yeah.
Or it'd be all over the floor. That's just like comedy or anything else. When it's relatable, it's funny, it's subconscious, and now I'm in that brand.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you can. I would be willing to wager most people out here, but just as a test, can you name another brand of trash bag besides Hefty?
I cannot.
Off the top of your head?
No, absolutely not.
Right? But there's like an aisle full.
Yeah.
Or like Ziploc bags.
Yeah.
It's Ziploc.
Yeah.
Like you're like, wait, was there even another thing? Yeah. Is it just Ziploc? So I would say the importance of building a brand as an individual is, like you said, finding your truest self, because otherwise you're just a non-Kleenex brand Kleenex.
Yeah. No, it's a great way of looking at it. And I think like it's also a testament to like creating the market and then branding the market as well.
Yeah.
It's like so many people, like that's kind of the one thing, like, you know, I still feel like I've been practicing and preaching personal branding now for 4 years. But when I say personal branding, people have 1,700 different definitions of it. But where when I say SEO, people know straight and center for the most part what SEO is, right? And so it's like getting to market is important, obviously, as well. And then branding the market, branding yourself in the market, I think is key. Talk to us a little bit about like what Punchline Production does, like your services, kind of who you work with, those things like that.
Sure. And before we move on though, I just want to say, like, for you and like you finding your brand, that's a really good point. You found a niche, but then you branded it through yourself.
Yeah. And
what I've noticed about your work is that the reason that I believe in what you're doing, and I am confident that you'll continue to grow, is because is charisma, right? An individual who knows their passion, knows themselves, has charisma.
Yeah.
So in the cadence of your voice and your ability to be calm and listen, these are all reasons that people are going to continue to interview you and people are going to want to continue to watch your show, because it's not chaos, because you're not being Howard Stern, you're not being anybody else, you're just being Adam.
Yeah.
And so I think that's that speaks it's a testament to your ability to brand yourself.
I appreciate that.
Punchline Productions is really a culmination of me finally getting to a point in my life where I no longer was concerned with other people's opinions. It seems counterintuitive because you think of like, oh, you chose to be in the spotlight when you don't care about anybody else's thought process.
Yeah.
And it for me, it was, because I've been in radio or different ads or whatever prior to this, but always with a shell of myself. I had a defensive shell, constant need for self-affirmation from others instead of, so I guess it's not right. Constant need for affirmation from others, not self-affirmation. I got to a point in the summer due to some personal things where I was just like, enough. And I no longer cared about, I just wanted to find my own peace, my own happiness, kind of a nothing to lose. And so I called two of my friends who had overcome some adversity because I was kind of going through some things. And I said, hey, do you guys want to come on to a podcast? And I give a podcast. I'm like, I think. And I called Sam and Joe, and we sat down with two of my buddies, one of which, JT Thomas, had undergone a kidney transplant and was basically on his deathbed, but kept positive throughout that. And then since that kidney transplant, this number may have grown, but I think he ran like 14 half marathons. He went back to school at Mizzou. He's married now. He's got a great career, just an abundant life. And then another gentleman, friend of mine, Jonathan, had been going through a divorce, and he has 3 young kids. And my thought process behind that was sort of selfish, because I was like, man, I think I have some bad problems, but I know these guys have overcome worse than I have, right? Yeah. So I wanted to learn, like, how do you guys get up in the morning? Mm-hmm. So that was show number 1. That was in June. And I was like, man, this is kind of fun. And my second guest, Keir Anderson, was like, I want to do a show. And I was like, well, we could probably facilitate that. Like, and then I talked to Sam and Joe, and I was like, how much would it cost for you to do this for me, with me? Yeah. And they told me. And so we set that out, the parameters. That was July 23rd of this year. I incorporated the business. I got an LLC for Punchline Productions. And now we're at 15 shows. And so it really snowballed, and it's because inner happiness, like you're talking about finding yourself, I no longer sought affirmation from others. I found my purpose. I walked my purpose, and the people that have surrounded themselves around me now, rather than me going out and finding or needing things, not unlike yourself, has been an incredible testament to like what following your passion can do. Everybody has this, nope. Many people that I've met, not everybody, have an inclination of, I want to be on my own. I want to start my own business, but what if? And there's an incredible speech by Steve Harvey, actually, not typically one of my top philosophers. Yeah. But in this particular speech, and I don't know if he created the speech, but he definitely spoke it well. And it was called the jump speech. And if you've never heard of the synopsis of this, is that you've never gotten through what you already haven't gotten through. We wouldn't be here today. Yeah. We've all probably had, again, let me regress. I have had in my life times that I've overcome and long since forgotten even, that I didn't think I could go on. Yeah. I didn't think I could make it. And I'm talking about when everything's real dramatic in like 8th grade, all the way up through when things really are dramatic in my 30s. Yep. Oh, man, how am I going to go back to school? I can't face myself. Up until like I said, in my 20s and 30s, there was probably there was some, rope on the rafter moments, some pretty dark times. And I've gotten through all of that. So the concept behind this is God won't put you through anything that you can't get through. So eventually you have to jump and trust that you have a parachute on your back, and you're going to hit some bumps and bruises. Bills are still going to come and go. You're still going to need money for things. But if you never jump, your parachute will never open. Yeah. And you'll never know. And so with Punchline, I jumped, and I'm so happy that I did, because it does feel like my purpose. It does feel like my calling. And the people that I've met along the way and that have joined our team have not only been a blessing, but have become a family to me. And it's so incredible, and it's so different, because when you're living consistently in your true purpose, other people are lifting you up. I'm not seeking it. They're just lifting me up because they genuinely want to see success, and I want that for them too. Same as you, like we talked about earlier, rising tide lifts all ships. Yeah. And when you're not concerned with, oh man, does this person like me, or tell me how cool I am, and you're just living your purpose, isn't it incredible? Like the support that comes out of nowhere, and it's genuine. It's feel good support. People from this club would text me like, hey, good job today. Proud of you, brother. And I'm like, man, that hits different. Yeah. Because I'm not seeking it.
Yes. Yeah. I think it's so powerful. And I think like we go through life and I can't remember the exact saying, but it's like people are either in our lives for a season, a reason, or whatever the other thing is. And like this year alone, like I had issues with the business partnership, people that I thought like were my brother, like literally like that close to me. I've had issues with family members. I've had issues with friends, like just of like me continuing to level up and want more for myself. And then when you have, a kid brought into the picture, that's one, like all these different things, you have to start to realize like you've changed as an individual. And that's kind of like a hard thing for you to realize, because like, well, what? I didn't change. No, we all change. Yeah. And some people, we outgrow those individuals, but we find new groups. Like everybody I've met here is the very similar thing. And like in this season, it's exactly what I needed going through what I was going through. And sometimes I think we don't understand that and we almost block it out from the people that actually want to show up for us. And then we try to give more energy, resources, and attention to the people that are just going to suck that energy. And when we're looking for affirmation from them, and not just being who we are with the people that we need to be who we are with.
Yeah.
We screw ourselves over quite a bit and we're in this convoluted roller coaster.
That's that childhood trauma.
It is.
So that's, I started working with, I had been doing what they call now, I didn't know these terms, talk therapy, which is really just therapy. And then I also did a lot of different modalities lately and I continue to do them, but I also work with alternately an individual that specializes in childhood trauma. So that's where I figured out a lot of that stuff about. Those self-affirmations are the same as a toxic relationship of any kind.
Yeah.
So whether it be with a parent, a past worker, a relationship, when things are bad, little good things seem great. Right? So you think about it like, maybe it's kind of like walking up a mountain.
Yeah.
It's always very difficult. But every once in a while there's a plateau where you can walk on level ground for a little bit.
Yep.
Maybe camp, get some rest. And that feels great. And then when you're climbing back up that mountain 3 hours later, all you're thinking about is how great that base camp was.
Yeah.
Right? How great the next base camp might be. And that's how I would compare a toxic relationship of any kind.
Yeah.
And so what we tend to do is when we're grabbing for straws or when we're in time of, well, oftentimes we don't even know when we're in a time of desperation. We don't even realize it because you don't know how great normal feels until you're not sick.
Yeah.
You got to get sick first.
Yeah.
So
powerful. That
rock bottom stuff, there's a lot to it. Mike Tyson talks about how it's kind of beautiful, like hitting rock bottom, because you got to struggle your way back up.
Not a whole lot to lose.
No, it's not. And that's when you start getting those people coming to you because you realize like, man, hey, like maybe this was toxic. Yeah. Maybe my entire life up until this point was me chasing toxicity.
Yeah.
Because that's like, it's more comfortable to be in chaos when your whole life's been in chaos.
Yeah.
Than it is to love yourself and step out of that chaos. Because then you have to rebuild those habits.
Yeah.
And think about it like an addiction. If you're addicted to alcohol for 10 years, your road to recovery is 10 years minimum. That's what they always say.
Yeah.
Right? So if you've been living, in my case, 38 years, but let's exclude 1 to 10. So 30 years in chaos, in trauma, in fight or flight mode, then building good habits to love myself and to chase my dreams and to put on my mask first before I try and provide for others or be a people pleaser in general, takes a lot of work to go the other way.
Yeah.
And I may not have 30 years to do it.
Yeah.
So I had to fast track it in some ways. And a lot of that is just being a person who lives in gratitude and changes your mindset about what am I worried about? I have what I consider a great little morning routine that I would love to share just because I learned this. And again, it may change in 6 months, right? Because as I learn more things, but if I worry about something during the day or if I get a feeling about something during the day, I let myself feel it, but I give myself a time. And I say, okay, I'm going to be sad for 15 minutes because I deserve this and I need to feel this feeling rather than distract myself.
Yeah.
If I'm worried, I'll give myself 15 minutes and then it's back to work. But every morning when I wake up, I'll take that worry from the day before and I have a worry journal and I have a regular journal. In my worry journal, I write down everything that bothered me yesterday. Even if it's like, man, I really lost my temper in traffic. And then I go, what can I have done different? What can I do to change that part of me this day, this week, this month? And I check those off for that day. Because now it's out of here and it's on to here. And then to change my mindset immediately back around and get out of that mode, I then pray in gratitude. And all the little minor things that seem minor that we take for granted. Yeah. I pray that I can go to my sink and get tap water to drink. I pray that I can stand up in the morning on my own 2 legs and walk. I pray in gratitude that I have beautiful children and that I, all these things. And then I go exercise, whether it's at the gym, 90% of the time it's at the gym, but I do have stuff at home. And the reason I do that is because no matter what kind of crap I face throughout the day, now I'm a little bit stronger than I was yesterday. So I'm better physically. And then after that, I don't know why I was still like white lie about this. I don't read the Bible every day, but I listen to an audiobook about it. Yeah. Right. So I try and strengthen my mind, my body, my spirit every morning. So that no matter what I face and what feelings I go through, since I've started doing this, I can say I've had a bad hour.
Yeah.
I've had a bad few minutes. I've not really had bad days because every day I'm better than I was the last time.
Yeah.
I'm no longer in competition with anybody else.
Yeah.
My better version of myself.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see how that transpires after 700 days of doing that.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine because I'll never peak.
Yeah.
But how cool, like how great can you feel about oneself? And the energy is contagious. Like my son does it now. He journals, my little guy.
That's awesome.
And our relationship is a calm, peaceful relationship. All of that is to say that is becoming my brand. That has allowed me to build Punchline.
Love it.
That has allowed me to share graciously what I've been taught in a way that is passing on knowledge, not claiming it for my own.
Yeah.
And bringing things up together, because I think that's the key to true success is being true to yourself, but you have to find yourself to do that. Sharing your gifts with other people and understanding that those gifts were given to me, whether it by be other individuals or God, and that they're not mine to keep.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just a conduit and I want to share those with you, but I don't want to share them in a way that's like, I don't know. I guess I just used to do it like, hey, bro, do it this way because I know this is good. It's more like this worked for me.
Yeah.
Take this under advisement, and then learn from you too. Like I've learned quite a bit in the very few times we've only sat down once.
Yeah.
But I'm watching what you do and I'm liking it, and those are the kind of things where, as a younger entrepreneur, were frustrating.
Yeah.
Because I would want a piece. I'd be like, oh man, how do I get onto what he's doing?
Yeah.
And maybe vice versa. Maybe you've experienced that.
Oh yeah.
But as I get older and as I get more calm in my own state, it's really just about, man, I would love to see what some of the things I've learned could do for Adam's success. And I would love to soak up what Adam knows to help my success.
Yeah.
And then raise it together, you know?
It's powerful.
Yeah.
Well, Corey, this is awesome, man. I really appreciate you taking the time to do this and allowing us to do this in this awesome studio, man.
Yeah. Thank you for utilizing our studio. It's one thing that I'm happy to share with, and I appreciate you plugging it.
Yeah, of course, man. We'll definitely do some more stuff here in the future. Where can people stay connected with you and then find out a little bit more about Punchline online?
Sure. Yeah. We have punchline314.co, just co.com, right, Sam?
Or .co as well.
punchlineproductions.co. Also, we have Facebook page, Instagram, and then our YouTube channel, Punchline Productions 314, where all of our shows and different podcasts are seen, and you can listen to us anywhere podcasts are published.
Love it. We'll put all that stuff in the show notes. Thanks again, Corey. This is awesome. Thanks again as well to our title sponsor, Go High Level. Without them, we aren't able to produce the quality of content or have amazing guests on like we did today. Check out a free and extended 30-day trial in the show notes, and make sure to leave us a 5-star review, making a big push for review, finishing up this year strong, and it definitely helps move the needle. And remember, authority isn't built overnight. It's built over time.
Thanks so much for tuning into this episode. We sure do appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, make sure you're subscribed to the show wherever you consume podcasts. This way you'll get notifications as new episodes become available. If you feel so inclined, please leave us a review. We sure do appreciate it. Until next time, friends.